Hi guys, this is Brad. I'm here today talking to Jeff Stroll, who is the loan officer here at KU Credit Union. And today we're going to talk about the pre-approval process and what we need to do to go through those steps to being able to own your own home.
That's right, yes. All right, Brad. Well, we're here today, and we're going to kind of go through the process, and it's very important to get pre-approved for sure, so you know how much house you can afford and what you need whenever you go out and look. And when you come to get pre-approved like you did, you brought me all of your pay stubs that you get, all of your bank statements in, and then we looked at your income, and we decided that you would be able to be pre-approved for a house of around $45,000 to $50,000. That's kind of what we put you at. And now we're going through the process with the realtor to find you a house and get things started. So.
And everybody is different depending on what their income level is on what you can get for a loan. So that was just what works for me.
Yeah.
It'll be different for everyone.
That's correct. So. Definitely. It all depends on those factors, and this is where Brad's at today. So, okay. And now, Brad, we're here today. You're back, and we're going to have you sign all the preliminary documents to get things started. And these forms just kind of go over all the charges that the credit union charges, the closing costs, itemizes those and explains all that to you, and then shows what your monthly payment is, so you know how much you'll be paying on a monthly basis.
Can you explain what the closing costs are and who basically pays for those?
Yeah, the closing costs, they're going to include like your appraisal that you have to do to make sure the house appraises at the current price that you're buying it for. It includes all the credit union fees like credit reports and all the title work that we have to do to make sure the title is free and clear and can go into your name. Then we have recording fees to record the mortgage and everything at the end. We do all of that. So that includes all the closing costs. Typically, closing costs run typically about 1% of whatever your purchase price is. So that's kind of where it runs at. And then either you'll pay the closing costs yourself out of pocket, or you can have the seller pay it. Those are kind of your options.
And isn't that most of the time that the seller will do it?
A lot of the times, A lot of the times the seller will pay it for you. Yeah, you can get them to pay it for you. So that's kind of what it itemizes out for us.
But it all depends on the situation and whatever works best.
That's correct.
For both the seller and the buyer.
That's right. Yeah, to get the best deal.
It's kind of a negotiation.
That's right. Exactly. So. And then, some of the things, if you happen not to be able to be qualified at the very beginning, what we can do is kind of look at where if it's a credit issue, we can go through the credit report, and we can look and see what things you would need to do to help your crediting improve and that kind of stuff.
One of the things that I know about, because I went through some things, is the big issue is people have a lot of debt load sometimes. And that could affect the type of loan that you might be able to get or be able to afford.
Correct.
So I think the first thing that a lot of people need to know is learning how to not only manage debt, but to be able to pay off those debts on a regular basis.
Correct. To make sure you make your payments on time.
I think it helps, and it's very important. I know it's easy to get in trouble with credit and all that, but if you do it right and can manage making the best thing that I've found from a personal experience, the little bit of debt that I do put on my card periodically, I make sure that I pay it off on a monthly basis whenever it's due, because you get in trouble if you get behind on those payments, and that's when the interest rate can kick in.
That's right.
And it makes it tougher. So my philosophy, and I tell people all the time when I'm doing this, is pay it off no matter what if you can.
Exactly.
And deal with building up your money later if it's a little bit more than you can pay. Or what I also do too is if it's a big payment, sometimes I won't pay the whole thing the first time. I'll make one payment and then make sure I pay off the balance by the time that it's due.
Correct.
So and I use the paper, I use the times of when I know that it depends on when you get your money, or when you get most of your money. Some people get it at the beginning of the month. A lot of people get it middle of the month or end of the month. So I just make sure that I pay the bigger bills when I know that most of my money is there. And it's important to pay off those bills, whatever they may be, whether it be rent or anything, not even credit. And then whatever's left over, that's what you can use to your fund money or whatever else to do. So
that's right.
People can get in trouble if they go backwards and go out and buy the big screen TV at the beginning of the month and not have enough money at the end to pay their bills.
That's right. Yeah.
So
make sure you pay your bills first, for sure.
It's
Definitely.
a big thing. So.
Definitely.
Can you explain a little bit about what the credit scores mean?
Yeah.
And how they work?
Yeah.
Just in a basic.
In a basic, yeah. I mean, what the credit scores are going to look at mainly is they're going to look at how much debt you have. They're going to look at your overall unsecured debt. They're going to look at that. They're going to look at what your balances on your credit are in relation to your limits. That's one of the biggest things you want to look at, is if you have a credit card, not to put too much on it, because that can lower your credit scores down. And your credit scores are anywhere from typically 350 up to 850 is where they go. And typically anything over typically 700 is very good credit.
So that's what I was just going to ask. What's a good credit score?
Good credit score is around 700 is typically a good credit score.
And I've noticed when I did my credit report, mine were rolling relatively good all the way through.
Because you paid your bills on time.
And they were clean
and
they were
that's
paid.
Right. That's right.
And
that helps the process a lot.
Remember, guys, it does make it a lot faster too. Is if you don't have any debt load at all, and you're always paying, it makes it go a little smoother sometimes. At least that's what I felt.
That's right.
So it's good. So.
One of the other requirements you do have to have is homeowners insurance, and you have to pay the monthly payment. Plus you have homeowners insurance that you pay with your monthly payment, and then taxes for the house that you pay on a monthly basis.
And is that usually just all included into your monthly payment?
It is. Yeah, it's all included on your monthly payment, so you just pay one payment, but we pay your taxes and your insurance for you on a monthly basis. Yeah.
And so we can pretty much set it up as an automatic, so sometimes you don't even have to think about to remember to pay it.
Exactly.
Which I think is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's just, it adds a little bit of stress. I'm always good about remembering to pay my rent, but any day with the internet and online banking or whatever you decide to use, it's made it simpler and simpler just to make it automatic so you don't even have to think about it.
That's right.
One thing you do have to do, guys, is to make sure that the one thing that I do when I started doing online banking is just make sure that the money is in the bank when it needs to be to pay the bills.
That's right.
So it's just, that's important.
If you get into a situation where you're behind on your payments, or you have an issue where you can't make a monthly payment, you should always contact that creditor directly. It's very important. Almost every bank, every credit card all has what's called a risk management or a collections department, and they'll work with you. But you want to, get it where maybe you can not make a monthly payment and pay more the next month, or just let them know and communicate with them, because most of the time they want to communicate back with you, and you don't want to get into a position where you're not making the payments and are too ashamed to let anybody know.